So today we began working on our major project, Persuasive Pitch. We decided on skin cancer as our issue.
We chose it because we think it's really prominent in Australia and affects everyone, including both of us.
So today we also researched sun protection technologies.
And we found a technology created by a UNSW student, which is essentially a wearable UV detector.
The idea is that you wear this patch and it will alert you when more sunscreen is needed to be applied or when you need to seek shade.
Today we also discussed which business would be a potential client. We narrowed it down to two, which was Latan and Banana Boat. And we've planned for me to do some research on the clients and come back next week and recommend which one is best.
And then I also planned for researching some statistics about skin cancer in Australia to bring them next week at our meeting.
Yep, and to go over it then. This week in class we learned a lot about SMART objectives and how our objectives needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timely.
So we'll keep this in mind through the course of our project summary statement. This is a recap of today's meeting, which is meeting 2 for our major project.
In the last 2 days I researched both Latan and Banana Boat, and I found that Banana Boat was a better fit for this technology because as a brand it is predominantly focused on sun protection and protecting Australians. It has a whole section on its website just for dedicated to skin cancer awareness, whereas Latan had no mention of skin cancer or skin cancer awareness, and it focuses mainly on tanning products, so I didn't think that it would be a good fit for this project.
Today I brought in some research about skin cancer for us to include in our project summary statement. I found statistics from the Cancer Council and the New South Wales Government Cancer Institute website. In this meeting we also spoke about our project goal. We discussed doing a social media campaign, but we decided it wouldn't be enough for our client if we only ran a social media campaign. So we decided on running an outdoor public event which can be advertised via social media.
Today we have reviewed all of the work we've done so far on the project summary statement. I needed help with the SMART objectives, so Theresa and I worked on those together.
So we also discussed the project goal and made sure we were happy with it. The project summary statement is due this Friday, so Emma has said that she'll work on creating a document for us to put everything together. We decided to call our business ELTX Consulting, so Em would design the logo for that.
Today we've also added to our work in progress and intend to start work on our work breakdown structure by hopefully next week. We learnt about the WBS in this week's lecture pods, as well as the constraints, risks and assumptions. And we found the triple constraint triangle really interesting, and how professionals often have to choose between only 2 of the following out of good quality work, fast work or cheap work.
So at the moment, we're coming to the end of the first stage of the Harvard Business Review's 4 phases of project management. So we've determined the real problem, we've identified our stakeholders, and we've defined our project objectives. Last week, we submitted our project summary statement, which was a huge relief. It means now we can turn our attention to getting our working documents up to scratch and, really focusing on them. This week we kept our meeting short. Theresa brought along the work breakdown structure that she'd been working on.
We discussed it together and allocated hours to certain tasks. We added in some more deliverables and started to build our Gantt chart. Each week at the end of our meetings, we also added to our work in progress document to make sure it stays up to date.
So this week we also utilised things we learnt in the lecture pods from Jackie Kromilov, who spoke about the fundamentals of great meetings.
And also last night Em sent me through an agenda and a clear start and end time. We will insert a screenshot of this agenda in our process video. We didn't have any time today in the library to film anything for our process video, so we popped onto Zoom to record this.
Yes, and I think that we'll probably try and do a bit more of Zoom because it's really cool to be able to upload documents while we're here chatting. So
definitely.
Yeah. In terms of our project management, we are now in the build-up phase. We are creating our schedule and continuing to plan our project.
This week we discussed types of personalities in the industry. I found myself as the maybe person. I noticed that during group work or team meeting discussions, I tend to always agree with opinions and ideas shared within the group. sometimes I don't voice my own opinions as I may think it's not valid enough.
I feel like, as much as I hate to admit it, sometimes I can be a bit of a yes person. I find in work situations, especially, I'm not always confident to stand up and to say that the workload's too much. So I end up just saying yes to everything, and then getting really stressed when I can't deliver on things that I've said that I can do. Like working at uni in teams has also shown that I can also be a bit of a grenade. Sometimes I get really emotional and stressed, but I don't really have like an outburst. I tend to keep it civil, but yeah, sometimes I just get emotional and stressed over the work.
So I think me and Emma really work well together. I know Em sometimes can get emotional and stressed, so I make sure I really calm her down. I always make sure that I check on her as well, that she doesn't have too much on her mind and that she isn't overcommitting herself as well.
And I know that T sometimes second guesses her opinions, so I try to make sure that I ask her what she thinks. And I think that we work really well together as well. We think alike, and we both feel pretty comfortable in sharing our opinions and working together.
Yeah, so in terms of our project, we are still adding to our working documents each week. The next thing to do is start looking at our pitch idea, but we won't start that soon. We'll probably leave it for next week or the week after.
This week, Theresa was absent from uni, and we heard from Shelley in class. It was really interesting to hear from Shelley and her career and how she's got to where she was, and to hear her advice for us moving forward in our own careers.
And yeah, so Em filled me in that she was an in-house role in finance.
And it was really interesting to hear about her PR nightmare when her company was actually contacted by Four Corners. And I think taking from her experience, we can learn that it's really important to be cool, or stay cool, calm and collected, even when everything's going wrong and you just need to get on and deal with things. Yeah.
Yeah, so next week is uni holidays, so we decided to not have a team meeting this week. We also decided to think of some ideas for our pitch video, which we will be on it in 2 weeks' time, and we'll get started on that. So last week we had a uni break. We were going to have it off, but we decided to conduct some research into our target audience. We conducted 20 interviews of people aged 18 to 21. We surveyed 10 males and 10 females, and you can see 2 examples on the screen.
We asked them the following questions. Do you wear sunscreen every day? When you do wear sunscreen, how many times do you reapply? If you had a technology to tell you when your skin was being damaged by the sun, would you be more likely to reapply? And when are you most conscious of sun safety? A, before you leave the house, B, when you're out in the sun, or C, when you can see the effects of sunburn?
So the ages we selected are just a sample of our target audience, but they showed results that confirm how relevant this social issue is. 17 out of 20 people said they only became conscious of sun safety after they got burnt, and none of the participants answered yes to wearing sunscreen daily.
This week, I will also be heading out to my local high school to conduct another survey of parents of children aged 12 to 18. And I'll ask similar questions, but we'll change it up a little bit. For example, I'll ask, do you make your child wear sunscreen daily? And we think it's important to do this as well because we've identified our target audience as 12 to 21. And so we kind of just want to get insight into that whole range to make sure that that is actually the audience that we should be targeting.
Yeah. So also this week we also heard from guests Greg and Hannah. Both spoke about the importance of organisation and staying on top of things, which are both key to delivering a great project. As this is our last week of the assignment, we thought it would be really great to evaluate our project performance. I think we worked well together and we completed all objectives.
In the last week, we've been completing our working documents and editing our videos, and we will submit these tomorrow to close off our assignment.
Reflecting on this, we both think it has been a really great assignment. It has been so nice to work with someone else and develop a project together.
By having weekly meetings and working together, we've completed the last 2 phases of project management, which are implementation and closeout.
This assignment has given us a taste of what a real life project would be like, and we hope to use this knowledge in our own careers.